it will become a little bit more difficult, but you guys gonna have less challenges, and maybe I will be nice to give you guys a couple of resources. But you guys should not get used to this spoon feeding. So cybersecurity, it's a place where you have to learn how to look for information. And this is exactly what I'm training you guys during the 6 month. I'm not really training you guys to learn what I'm teaching here, but but rather to learn how to look for information on your own to solve your own issues. Because there is no way I can teach you everything in 3 months, and there is no way you can learn anything in 3 months. But the most important skill is to actually find the information, and which is like the thing number one that we are focusing in this track. Here is a guy that I saw playing table tennis instead of being here. It's I'm just kidding. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay, so first, what do you guys think about the challenges? Were they hard, easy? How much did you guys spend on them on average? I will just go by real quick and see your impression on them. And you can just add like a sentence or two. What do you think about them in general? Can you get the microphone? Yeah.
It is. Hello?
Yeah.
Okay. So the ones that have like a underlying server with it and in the Docker, I found them quite more approachable because you could kind of see what's gonna happen in the code and what you could do. But with the Python challenges that just were like a couple of lines, you really had to understand what is possible there.
Yeah.
And that I had a really hard time with that. The
Good, good.
JavaScript, I was a bit afraid at first, but then when I tried them, I was like, okay, it's actually not that hard, but interesting to go into this new language also.
Good, good, good. That's what I like to hear. Sergio.
Yeah, overall, really fun.
Good.
Yeah.
Maybe you can add a sentence or two on the challenges. Like, what do you think? They are hard. They are easy.
I think, yeah, the ones with the Docker and the Flask.
Yeah.
That was easy. But I hated the Python ones, the small and no name. Yeah.
It's fine. It's actually these two challenges. They are actually public. I mean, if you guys did look enough, you were gonna find the solutions on your own. It was a blunder from my side. I just noticed that I actually pushed the wrong files later on, but they're solvable. So if you were to solve them, I think only one guy here that actually found the repo, which is Donk, and that's why he finished this quickly. But I will tell you guys how they should have been and how they should have been solved. I mean, the modification that I added and how hard they did become.
But yeah, I'm curious to see other solutions.
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if everyone is fine with this, we are gonna go through everyone's solutions here, and we're gonna check like their perspective, how they did come up with the solutions, how they did solve it, and of course at the end I will also add my own touch on top of it, like, and we will see how I did approach this and how I did solve them myself. Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, what I appreciated is the fact that it stays in the same line of 42 spirit, learning by doing. So for me was also the bash and the portal challenge the easiest to be done, and it still took me almost a week, but not full time. And the other ones were more challenging, so I didn't solve them.
It's fine. I mean, you either solve or you learn. There's only two possibilities here. Yeah.
I remember that you mentioned it's gonna take like 1 hour per day to solve the challenges, but for me, I spent like almost full 3 days to get all flags, and for me, the no-name challenge was the most difficult, and the Googling really helped me with the getting the flags.
Actually, no name, when I show you like the solution, how it should be to get an RCE, you will think, oh, why didn't I think about this? And this is exactly how it starts, like this thinking outside of the box. And as I said, there is a small mistake there. This challenge is solvable, don't get me wrong, but you cannot get RCE except if you do a small modification there. And we will also understand why this modification is really needed. And I believe there is still a way to solve it even here, like to get like full RCE, because there is just a lot of attack vectors, but I just couldn't do it myself. Maybe if I have more time, I can try it furthermore, because I thought it interesting. But for now, we're just gonna talk about this when we reach that challenge, okay?
For me, actually, I didn't spend a lot of time. I promise from next time I'll spend more time. But this time, yeah, I was seeing the JavaScript one. Yeah, seems kind of understandable and approach. Python ones, yeah, I couldn't think like where to start, and also kind of learning Python side by side for that. So I'll be next time on. I'll be hopefully some of my challenges like I'll solve few of them.
Good,
Yeah.
good. Yeah. Back first.
For me, I think I thought the PyGel will be easier, but I was wrong. So I spent all of my time on PyGel, but I could solve only the no name. I'm not sure that is exactly you want, but I think it's partially work. So I need to spend more time on others gel also. So next time I will do better, I think.
And
Thank
by the
you.
way, I mean, the point of this is to not be like, I don't know, to feel like disappointed that you spent a lot of time on one challenge and you didn't have time to do the others, because the whole point is to actually spend time learning
Yeah.
and trying to find the solution.
Yeah.
As I said, that's the whole point of whatever we are doing here. Because, like, the examples I did give you here, you're not going to see them like in real life, like in the first job you're going to take or something like this. They are going to prepare you to specific tasks or like specific scenarios, but they are more built to the orientation of how to find solution to this type of stuff than to actually give you the knowledge to solve them.
Think. So actually for me also, no name and small was most hardest. So I spent one day or more than that. So other than that, it was easy. And also in Python, I also learned many things, like how they build classes or what is happened behind the scene.
Good,
So
good.
that's
Nice,
it.
nice.
Thank you.
That's what I like to hear.
I think for me the hardest part was where I also was talking to you about how far the challenges were to able to exploit them, to crack them. And the other thing that I still have a struggle with is building up the write-ups when I finished one of the
Actually,
challenges.
out of all the write-ups, I liked, I think, one write-up or two. I mean, I appreciate all the effort, but I will show you guys at the end how the write-up should be made. You guys can take it as a standard for also the future. I mean, you can feel free to tell me how you did solve it along the way, but just like before the day of the submission, or like a few hours before the end time, please like try to write it in that specific format, because it's not only good for me but also good for you for the future purposes when you are going back to this very same challenge, to use like an idea there. Yeah.
So for me, since I am not at the end of the core curriculum, it was quite challenging because I didn't know JavaScript. Like I didn't write the mini shell, and it was quite hard. But the Python actually was the easiest one because I'm not sure whether I solved it correctly. But when I inspect the page from the browser side, I noticed that there was for bug purposes solution like the template injection, and when I wrote config, something appeared, and I understood that this is the way how you will inject it gradually, and that's how you will disassemble it. The fiberglass, yeah, was hard for me actually because I was struggling to surpass the limitations. Yeah.
Good.
So I actually tried only Python once because I hate JavaScript and Bash. But and actually I found some like PyJail cheat sheets, and after that it was quite easy to solve them. So.
Yeah, I started with the Bash challenge and solved them. and I think the no name was very difficult, and I spent way too much time on it until I go to the portal challenge, and so I only have time to solve the portal, and I didn't look at the rest of the challenges.
Okay, good. Ali?
Kind of nervous. I have never talked on this thing, but yeah, the one thing that I learned, just feedback, is I have been working in tech and all that stuff, like everyone here. It was always building stuff. So the one perspective that I got is today I was breaking some. I'm trying to break something, but so it was quite different. I enjoyed it. I had literally maybe 1 day or less than 1 day that I spent, unfortunately. So, but I found the bash one interesting. I mean, it was the hardest one because I only tried 2. The second one was the JS. JS one was a bit easier because I have a background in front end. So, but yeah, overall that was a nice one.
Good, nice.
So yes, all in general, I didn't think that cybersecurity and CTF would be so much fun for me, but yes, it is. Absolutely. Also, thanks to you and those challenges. Yeah, I did them all, but yeah, with the Python ones, I didn't really know what to do in the beginning, and I think no name is really hard if you didn't do small upfront. So maybe bringing an order in which to tackle it would be nice in some way, because that will give you a hint on how to tackle the next one in a way. Yeah, they were a bit challenging, but I didn't spend so much time on it. Really, it was, but really it was fun, absolutely.
Good.
Great challenges.
Yeah, love to hear that. I mean, the point about, or the point regarding like whether we can like make, maybe label them, whether they're easy, medium, or like a way you should follow before you can solve all of them. This is really hard and really tricky because some stuff you might find difficult for yourself, and for some other people they might find it easy. Like you can hear here, some people, they found like the PyGels much easier than doing like, for example, bash gel. Some other people, they found completely the opposite. That's why it's really hard to evaluate for which specific person, which one gonna be easier than the other. That's why the only thing that I always recommend is to just give a first look to everything. Like take a look into everything, see what's based on your background, which one of them you're gonna have at least like a head start, or like you're gonna have like a feeling of them, and then you start from there. This is at least what I can recommend. Other than that, it will be super difficult, at least for me. Okay, as I said, I'm really proud of everyone's work during this last, I don't know, 10 days. As you guys said, some people spent more time, some people spent less time, but this is all good. At least you did spend enough time to be able to solve at least one challenge, which proves that you have an interest in this, and I like this. And yeah, it's my turn now to do my job and explain everything so that you guys will be able, hopefully after this lecture, to solve all of them on your own, and maybe solve even more challenges. Yeah. If everyone is fine with this, I would go through the solution of everyone. So if anyone here have any problems with this, please raise your hand, and then we're not going to go through your solutions. But other than that, I just wanted, because I really liked some solutions. I thought they are super creative, and I didn't think about like that way to solve them. And yeah, so without further ado, we can start, right? Let's see. So the first one is Ishiri. I'm not sure if Elias is here. No, he's not here. Yeah, it's fine. Elias is not here, but I'm not sure if he's online. Vidus, is Elias online somewhere there? If Elias, if you are online, please write a message in the YouTube chat. Other than that, we're just going to go through your solutions. Sorry for that. So Elias was able to solve small, no name and small. Matt solved everything. By the way, I don't know everyone's here usernames. That's why I think I will start with the gel. No, I think I will start with the bash gel because I thought it's the easiest one, and I will see how everyone's did it, and then later on we're gonna go through the Python ones, and then at the end the JavaScript. Okay, because I also hate JavaScript, that's why I would leave it till the end. So this is from math. Here he did describe like his way of like going through everything, and at the end, so basically he just entered file minus f dash f and then flag, and it's actually solved the challenge. Let's check it out. Let's see if it's gonna solve it. Just gonna do this. Oops, my bad. I think we're already in the bash directory. Docker compose. Oops. Up. Yeah, it's built. Index. I forgot which port was it again. 80. Okay, thanks. Closed. Okay, so this challenge is basically you have a prompt. It's inside a PHP application, and you are able to execute a command, but yeah, you are able to run a shell to execute your command, but there is some restrictions, so you're not allowed to run some specific commands that are here blacklisted, for example less and also cats, the two most famous ones, but some people found some other ways around. Let's see this, minus f and then flag.txt, or was it flag, right? Yeah. File dash f and then flag. Nice. That was actually a way to solve it. I mean, this is what I love to see. This wasn't the way that I did solve it, but this was actually a nice solution. I mean, if you don't know what does what does the file command do, file command allows you to list informations from the header and into which, like, who's first solved this? This math, right? Yeah, who is math here? Yeah, you. Can you tell us, like, how did you come up with this file dash f? Like, what was the thought process? Oops. Yeah.
So first I looked at the code. Yeah, there's the blacklist, but more importantly, the fiber class, the word, is the set of characters which you can use. Actually, it says nothing else, but I tried then and found, okay, special characters work as well. And okay, I cannot use those commands that I would like to use. So I just opened a list of bash commands and just looked through what they do. Okay, you can skip everything that has A or B or C, so it's not so many. And file wants to read from so it tries to find files that are listed. Of course, there's no file listed, but then it throws the error. And that's the way to go.
Good, good, good. That's a really good way of thinking. I mean, I'm pretty sure the process was also to first look or first filter the commands that have a way to interact with the file, either read it, write it, or do some sort of a file descriptor thingy. And from there, you can move forward. Like, for example, you're not going to use, I don't know, like ls, for example, because you know ls, it's list a directory, but it doesn't interact with the file itself. So you can start eliminating the possibilities from there. And because this is also a bash challenge, you should only be looking at the commands that you are able to run in this specific scenario. Good. Nice solutions. I like it, and it works. Good. We can go to some other solutions from the others. Prashant, I'm not sure if he's here. If he's here, maybe he can write it in the chat. Otherwise, we can see what he did to solve the challenge. Okay, permission. Okay, this is actually the way that I thought since the beginning. It was to just use dot flag. It's super nice and super small and actually super interesting. I wanted him to be here, but I think someone else also solved it in the same way. Who did solve it also with a dot here? Nice. Okay, you guys will explain to us what was the thought process to come up with this dot? Because this is not something that many will think of. Maybe a dot, yes, just a dot.
Okay, the way I thought about is what was a little bit not straightforward, not a line. So I wasn't successful in finding in thinking in a systematic way. Like I listed the commands that are possible from fiberglass, but I didn't have the patience to read the options of each one that interacts with files. So I just had the idea of writing a script. So, and I called the script fiberglass.
Okay.
And then as a try, I just did a point and flash, and I run the script. Then I had to Docker it to copy it into the Docker container. And then I learned from you it was a bad solution because I was not allowed to use the terminal. So I'm very beginner in CTFs. Then it took some days. And then, then I had the patience to read LS options, for example. Didn't work. Then it came like a completely spontaneous thought. Okay, let's try just the point and the flag.
Okay.
So just source the flag and see what happens. And then it was just an accidental solve.
Good. So if you guys don't know, maybe he will point this out. If not, I will say the reason why the point works. Yeah, there. Good.
I didn't do it just with point. I did it with point slash to try to do it as an executable. And when I try to do it like this, then I get just the information, then I cannot execute it. And then it also shows me a part. I'm not sure how much part, but a part of the content of the file that I want to.
No, but I mean just dot space.
No, I didn't use dot space.
Okay. So basically the dot in bash, it's a special command that runs source. So in case you want to source a file, you basically can just do it with a dot. It was super interesting and mind-blowing when I got to know this. That's why it's super interesting to know the quirks of a specific language that you're trying to target, especially in this GL. Because these quirks are actually the things that most developers will oversee. And this is also the things where the hackers or just security engineers love. So that was the thought process behind it. I mean, if you know that the dot is basically source, you will solve it immediately. Otherwise, you can just like look, and in case you find ever something interesting, this is at least from my experience, whenever you find something interesting, you have to always save it because you don't know when you're going to need it. And this is one of the things. The dot, it's also a source. Okay. In case, do you guys have any questions so far? I mean, if you have any question, you can just ask right away. I don't have to ask you guys for this. And we can continue. Renek did solve, I think this was the Python. Yes, this was the Python one. Sergio, would you mind telling us how you did solve fiberglass? Sergio also did solve it in a really interesting way. And yeah. Please don't turn off the mics.
Okay. So it took me like a couple of hours to find out that I can only use commands that are from the fiberglass word, with letters from the fiberglass word. And then I started, so it's funny because I ran into that command by accident. I first ran it without arguments and got a .out file from it. And then I ran it with the file and saw that it complained, and it gave me the actual contents of the file.
So this is basically the command that he's talking about. Can you tell us what is AS?
Assembly?
Yes, assembly.
Yeah.
So basically,
you
do you know what does these commands, these flags do?
The L is, it stands for long listing, I think?
Yes, long listing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the whole point. So basically this command, it has a flag that reads the file and tells you the listing of the file before it tries to read it as an assembly file. And this was like the whole point. Again, right now we're trying to read a file. which means you have to look for ways through some other commands that will allow us to read a file. That was our main target. As I said, in the CTF scenarios, your end goal most of the time is to read a file. If you are able to get an RCE, it's good, but you should not fall into this rabbit hole, because it might not always be the solution. Okay? Because even in the wild, you don't always look for ways to RCE. Sometimes you just want to leak data. And this should be always your main target, or at least your first target. If you are able to leak data, from that point onward, you start looking for some other stuff. If you are not even able to leak data, that means there is something wrong with what you are doing. And there is no way you can get an RCE without even reading anything. I don't believe it will be possible. Okay?
Can you try it?
Hmm?
Can you try it?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, you can go to the websites.
Because at first, when I saw the CTF flag, I thought it has to be like a hash value, you know?
I mean, some people do it with a hash, but now I'm just like, I even did choose there to put like, actually, this challenge in the end was, in the first, was meant to be like a race condition challenge. But I changed my mind and I left the flag like this just to see who's gonna fill in the rabbit hole. And I think a lot of people was looking for ways to do race conditions, and I don't know, and it was much easier than just doing this, right? Okay, so the moral of the story, you should not jump into conclusions before you actually try the stuff. I mean, it might waste a lot of your time. Okay? Good, so I really like this solution. And I think the last solution, I mean, the other solution other than this is a standard. I think everyone solved it the same way, but we can. Okay, this is, who is Ahmed here? Okay, guys, please write write-ups like this. This write-up is really beautiful. This write-up and also the write-up of Ilyas are the two write-ups that I really liked. Even though they have like the AI touch, but it's fine. I mean, you can use it. I'm not saying you are not allowed to use it, but yeah, you get what I mean. And he did only the PyJS, so we will continue. Ali, can you tell us how you solve fiberglass? Yeah, microphone is coming there. I think you did it. You also did it with a dot, right? Yeah, so you did it with a dot. Yeah. Huh? Okay. Donk fiberglass. Oh yeah, Donk. Yeah, you can tell us how you did solve it. I think the majority of people solved it the same. Who did solve it with base 64 as well? Yeah, the majority. Okay, only 4. Maybe some people that didn't come also solved it with base 64. Okay, please tell us how you did come up with this. Okay, good. 5. Can you tell us how did you come up with the base 64 idea? I think it's working.
DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, nice. Good. I mean, yeah, this challenge and another challenge were super easy to the point you can just solve them with DeepSeek. But the whole point of having also this as a solution is sometimes the data you're trying to get might be reversible. So for example, base 64, if you are encoding in base 64, you are also decoding in base 64, and it goes both ways. That's why it works. And as long as you see or realize that the numbers are also allowed, why not think in this direction as well? So I'm not sure if anyone had like a different approach, how it came to this. Maybe you got like some sort of enlightenment or something. You can tell us, anyone? Yeah, sure.
I mean, I took almost the same approach as Matthias, that I made a list of bash commands and used the my own list of fiberglass and the symbolics and also the numbers that I can use, and just use the script to find all the commands that I can use, where so I can use base 64, and I already used it before in some other CTS. So
good. Yeah. This is also one thing that I wanted to pinpoint. Actually, you have to start automating your own things. I mean, there is no way you're going to go through every single one of them. At the very least, at the beginning, you just have to filter all the ones you're allowed to run. And based on this, like you can go then further and try to automate like the listing. Check which one of these have the possibility of the listing. How you're going to do it? Through the manual. How you're going to read a manual? You can read it. It's basically a file. I mean, if you don't use less, it's just a file in your system. Okay, good. You want to add something more?
No, just I had a big mishap. It basically was the first thing I tried, but then I read only letters from fiberglass, and I assumed no numbers were allowed.
That's
and then I took a long detour until I was like, okay, just try it.
yes. So actually, it was intended to have also numbers and some other stuff that are basically not written there, just to make sure you are reading the whole code. You should not jump into conclusions before you read the whole code. You never know. You literally never know. Sometimes there is a specific chunk of code that you would just think it's useless or not doing anything. It might be exactly the thing you can use and abuse. Okay? Good. We'll just continue through. This is also base 64. Who is Easy Place? Okay. Yeah. Good. Who is Foyz? Okay, good. Yeah, I also liked your solutions, the way you wrote the solutions, I mean. I think you also solved it with base 64 if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes, it was base 64 as well. Yeah, this is also another way of doing it. You can also tell us about this, because if in case you're trying to do a race condition, this is actually the way to go. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Okay. So after reading the text, so I thought it should be solved with symbolic link. So then I tried to create, how can I create a symbolic link? So I tried many ways. Then I found that a directory has a write permission. So then I created a symbolic link and make it executable, then run this command.
Good, good, really good, really good. This is what I said, like there is a lot of ways to solve these challenges. I mean, some people just stick to the basics, base 64, but there is literally a lot of ways, and there is a lot of ways that we didn't even discuss here. Like, so the point is, sometimes, if this way didn't work, try another way, that's it. Good, let me check in case anyone here did it in a different way. Who's L? Okay, good. Fiberglass, you also did it with base 64, right? Yeah, nice. Who is Mott? Okay, good, good, nice. Yeah, I also liked your write-up. Your write-up was also clean and good. Base 64 as well, nice. I'm not sure how to read this name. Who is? Okay, this is you. Okay, Strawhelm. Yeah. You did the JavaScript ones, yeah?
No, I did except for the Python.
Okay, then I just didn't add your other solutions here.
I didn't write a file. I just put in the chat.
Okay, I see. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. Timo did the Pythons, and Layla, yes, she did the dot trick. Nice. Okay, good. Do you guys have any more questions regarding this bash? Yeah, please.
I have two questions. You said that the main thing in most of the time in CTF is to leak data, and what's RAC you said?
RCE.
RCE.
Remote Code Execution. It's when you are able to run code in the server or like in your target machine. So this RCE is so basically
like Python.
It's not only Python. Like this is in general. This is a term used in cybersecurity in general. So when you are targeting a system, you're trying to do one of the two things: either leak data or get an RCE. Yep. RCE. If you are able to get an RCE on a system, it's always a 9. It's always critical. It's always rated 9 out of 10. Like the
server-side injection, basically, that's what it means, right?
Not only server-side. I mean, server-side injection is one of them. RCE is a general term.
Okay.
It might not be always related to a server-side injection, because a server-side injection is limited to only being to bypass the limitation of a user. I mean, in this case scenario, we have always a server-side injection, but this is not a standard. In Pawn, if you're trying to exploit a binary, you're not doing a server-side injection, you are doing binary exploitation. But you're achieving an RCE as well, okay? It's just a term, okay?
Yeah, and the second one, when you started to describe what file -f flag was doing, it was reading a header and then you stopped, and I didn't really
So
understand the
file
solution.
command normally just reads a header.
Uh-huh.
But if you take a look into all the other flags, -f allows you to give the listing of the file.
Uh-huh.
That's why
Okay.
it works.
All
Okay?
right. Yeah.
So the whole point is when you're looking at the command and you filtered all the commands that you're allowed to use, you start looking through them which commands have any interaction with the files, like any redirection, any listing, anything in this case scenarios. Okay?
I
Any
have
other questions?
one question.
Yeah.
I have an idea of to bypass the blacklist commands.
Mhm.
I tried L
Mhm.
with the quotes LESS
Mhm.
to run the less command, but it didn't work. The command was not found. Was
Mhm.
it intended or?
This thing, right?
Yeah. I could run the command, but
Let me check. What? You did pretty much something like this. Yeah, okay. Yeah, on the system, this command. I think this is Alpine, right? Or was it directly? Let me check which Docker did I. Okay, it was PHP, so it was based on Alpine. That way, there is not like all the command. We don't have all the commands on this machine, so that's why I did it. But this was also another way of doing it. I mean, a way to bypass the blacklisting. Also, this is also a way that some of you guys did use to bypass the restrictions on the JavaScript challenges, like how to craft strings or how to craft commands without like using the normal way of just writing them one-to-one. Good, but we are gonna go through this when we reach the JavaScript ones. Good, do you guys have any more questions? We're gonna reach that point. Yeah, we are gonna start now with the Python ones. It's because they are the ones that are gonna take the longest time. Oh, okay, the time is actually running. We will be a little bit going a little bit quick. Sorry for that, but I will try to be expressive as much as I can. We will start with Portal because it's the easiest one. Okay, Portal. Let's go through this solution. First, you just go through the file. So Portal basically it gives you like an endpoint called a register, and it is like a post endpoints. And this endpoints, if you understand like how the SSCI works, I already said this is an SSCI challenge. So basically, we have to abuse this percentage %s to inject some Python code within. And because we are running inside a containerized environment, the template itself, you have some limitations. For example, you don't have imports. That's why you have to find a way to get them from other objects. Okay? Does it make sense? Getting elements from other objects. Because Python, the way it's built, it is built with an AST. So we have the base object, which is objects, and from it we derive literally everything. Okay? And at some point, if you are here, you can always go back to see what was like previously in the tree at this specific point. Does it make sense, or should we do like a? Because this was all discussed in the last lecture of the cybersecurity day. Good. Basically, the solution of this, you can just ask ChatGPT or like literally the first search. It will give you like the standard. Like the solution of this is super standard. There is nothing fancy here. We can just go through it real quick and then go through the other harder challenges. Okay, he didn't do the Portal here. So Matthias, yeah, I think almost everyone solved it this very same way. So basically from config, because config was actually accessible from there, you call class to initiate a new class from this specific object, and then from it here he called globals. You can go one of the two ways, either go through the subclasses or use global. Do you guys know what is global? You know what is global, right? It's a global scope in Python. There is both local scope and global scope. It's the same way like in C, but in Python, it allows you to get a direct access to all the elements there. Okay? And from there, you can do literally everything. I mean, he's importing OS, and then he's just opening the flag and he is reading it. Good. Do you guys have any questions on this solution? We will see the other way to solve it. If you have a question, please stop me, okay? Portal from Prashant, I think he solved it. Where was his solution? Yeah, so he got it from the buildings. Okay, actually he did went through the self. Do you guys know what is self? The object itself. So if you are within a class and you're calling self, you're calling this object itself. It's like this in C++. It's working the same way, okay? And from it, he's okay. Again, he initialized the object, and then he called the globals. From globals, he went to buildings, and this is like yada yada. This is the standard way, okay? Yes, yes, this is also in JavaScript, and we will like I think everyone here went through either object or this in the JavaScript challenges to solve them, which are both correct. Object, they're using the main object. This, they're going through the instance of the object where we are within. We will talk more about this when we reach the GS challenges. Which challenge was it? Okay, this was the other one. Sergio, did you do Portal? Okay. Yeah, he also went through globals, building, import OS, and then he also did the same thing with the self. Ahmed, he did. Did you do Portal, Ahmed? Okay. Ali, you did Portal? No. Long, you did Portal for sure. Yeah, he also went. Oh, nice. He actually used get data. Please remember this get data. If you're trying to shrink your if you're trying to shrink your injected code, everything you're gonna see is recorded. So yeah, yeah. So this get data is really important. It's part of the tree, and it's almost the fastest way to reach opening a file. Like this get data, it's really, really important. So make sure you remember it, because some people start thinking, hey, maybe I need to go through OS and then call system and then capture the flag. You don't need to do this always. Like this is much shorter than the other solutions. Okay. Also, this is really important. Do you guys know why he did mention the Python version here? Exactly. So this index here, it actually changes. Why? Because this object tree, this ESC, it is changing based on the version of the Python you are working with. If you are working with 3.11 or 3.12, it might have a different structure. I mean, in this challenge, if it was deployed on like a real server and you have to attack it on a real server, I would have had to send you the Python or like at least the Docker container used to serve this specific challenge. Otherwise, it will be like doing it blind, which is not really much appreciated. Easy play, okay. He did that. Files, he did, I think, yeah, he did all the challenges. Oops. Portal. Yeah, actually, he did give us all the ways to solve it. Really well done. Good. Get flash messages. That's really interesting. I didn't think that anyone would think of this get flash messages. But do you guys know why this is actually working? Let's look at the code again. And Mike? No. Yeah, please.
Sorry, what is the question?
Why did you go through get flashed messages?
Oh, okay. Actually, I know about last two. First one, actually, when I try to find out how can I access a global variable, so I find a way I can also access with this one. So that's but I am not details about this.
Okay, okay. This is one of the standards way to reach globals. I mean, this is an object that exists within the Flask object. That's why you are allowed to use it in this context. But if you were to be in just a chal.py file, like a normal PyGel, you are not going to be able to do it in that case scenario. But that's a really good way to think of the things. Yeah, this is the config way to do it, and this is also the self way to do it. As you can see, he did use OS and then he used popen to open the thingy. Good. We can continue. Python L again. Yeah. Did you do the portal? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is how you. Okay. Nice. You used communicate. Nice. So basically, okay. Nice. 405. Which object was this?
Yeah, so it was popen.
Popen. Nice. Okay. So he did access popen directly. He didn't even go through the OS. That's a way to do it. You see? I mean, the moment you identify that this specific object allows you to do something, you can use it in a different way or try to find it in a different context. There is like warning. It's also one of the most famous objects that you can use to reach system. Yeah, here he used popen. Good. Yeah.
I saw one of the solution and it was also possible to substitute stdout -1 to pipe, but when I did it with pipe, it was not working. When you place stdout not -1 but by pipe.
Like this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was not working. Why?
I have to check this communicates. We will check it during the break, okay? We will check it together during the break. Because we have to go through the object tree and check all the elements within to understand what is going on. Because it might be this object, as long as we have this object in two different places, that means there is a small difference between the two. As long as we can access it through OS and we can access it as a standalone object, it means there is some sort of difference. Otherwise, there is no duplicates in the ESC. It means you're going to redirect the input from the buffering that we have on the server to wherever you are right now.
Like to your client.
Do you know how sub-process works? Huh?
Yeah.
So basically when you start sub-process and you're trying to redirect inputs from this specific process.
From child process.
Exactly, yes. So this is how pipe works. Yeah.
The 405 is here used to access popen. Are there some of those numbers and methods that stay over the Python versions, or is that also version specific?
I mean, some objects will change, but most of them, they don't change, just the order changes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not reliable for each and every version, so you have to
Yeah.
what
Yes.
is in that.
Yes, exactly. I mean, always when you reach like the point where you are in subclasses of a specific object, you start looking, and then you have to just have your own script that you use to go through the whole ESC from that point onward and just see what is usable in this specific context. Okay? But generally, when you reach these points, and you don't have like that much limitation, either size or whatsoever, it's most likely certain that you're gonna find a way to run OS. Yeah. Mod. Again, sorry, I'm bad with names. Okay. You did portal as well, yes. Okay, you did portal as well. Nice. He did go through the MRO. Okay. You did it with MRO, right? Yes, nice. Do you guys still remember who was here in the lectures of the cybersecurity day? Do you guys still remember why we use MRO? Derivatives of the object. Yeah. Derivatives of the objects is through the MRO, and it's mostly used in the web context. Okay. But it can also be used in normal challenges. Don't get me wrong. Good. He's also went through the 405 and he also used the popen. He just, instead of going through the subclasses, he went through the MRO. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Good. I'm not sure why you used save here.
Because some smaller signs, or when I get it back to the HTML page, it doesn't show me the right signs.
Sorry?
Can you try it without save and with save, and you'll see what is the difference?
Yeah. You have your curl here, or okay? I think it was it with code? No, this.
I tried this code. I entered in the HTML page.
Huh?
I entered the command in the
Yeah, you can. Okay, you want. Okay. Then I have to run it. Okay. Okay, we will take a look into this later as well during the break. It's working. Yes. Okay, it's installed it. Okay, I need ENV. I will do this during the break. So you have a question? Do you also who asked me? Yeah, you asked.
No,
You asked about the file, right? No, who had another question? I said during the break again.
he.
Yeah. Okay. So you two. Okay. Just so that I remember. Yeah.
I said I had Docker for this application. You can use that. Then you don't need to install Flask.
You have a Docker. Okay.
I had Docker file in my GitHub
Okay.
for this.
Yeah, I will check that. Okay, okay. Good. But do you guys have any questions regarding the functionalities themselves, other than the edge cases? No questions? Okay. We will go through one more challenge and then we will take a break. I will leave the no name till the end. We will go through small. Yeah, we'll go through small. Actually, this challenge was intended to have only 22 bytes. It was not intended to have 42. 42 was too much. But some solutions were really interesting. Do you guys know what was the first point in this challenge? Like, what's the first thing that did come to your mind when you did read this line?
We can only use print and built-ins?
Yes. So all the built-ins were removed. The only thing which is possible to use is print. But because we know the ESC print is more than enough, right? Okay, we will take a look into the solution, and then at the end I will say like the way to do it in just 22 bytes. I'm gonna start from Ishiri. He did. This is small, right? Yeah. Yeah. So this is the way Ashiri did it. Now, for the people that said like 42 was not enough, when it's not enough, you just have to get more, right? And how you get more is through input and exec. If you are able to prompt a new one or like execute a new prompt, it means you have like more space. So always, when you are not able to shrink your code to fit in the specific requirements, you always use exec with inputs. I mean, of course, if you are able to use them. And this is what he did here. So he used this operator to flash directly to have like the object itself here inside within, and then he just ran it with the exec and input, because print self has both built-ins. It has input and has also exec. And from that point onward, you can do literally everything you want. Yeah, he spawned here a shell. It's system. Yeah. And actually, if you just did some Googling, you'll find exactly the solution in the internet. Huh? He found it. Good. Okay, we will look through other solutions. Small. This one called small. Check how Matthias did it. Maybe Matthias, can you tell us how you did it? Let me check first how you, because someone here didn't do it the correct way. Yeah, I think it was you. I didn't really grasp what you did here. Because technically you only get the prompt of the Python. It's the only thing you are allowed to do, and it's the only thing you are interacting with. Where was the solution? Let me check. Yeah, now we can swap.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me have a look myself again. Could
Yeah.
you scroll up? Yeah. Okay, we were very restricted in what we can do, and I used redirection
But how
to
you do it?
create a file with some content, which already is a remote command execution. And redirection allowed me to create the flag file. Yeah, and calling the challenge py, I already implemented that redirect to that file then. And then I could use the print function within that jailed shell again, and it wrote content to that file. And I tested it with longer input. Didn't work, so I was still in that jail at that moment.
Okay.
And that's exactly what I wanted to prove here. And yeah, the flag is really short here, of course, because of brevity is useful here. And yeah, I thought about other ways on what we could do there, and yeah, used export along with that with the shell.py as an argument to set it as environment variable, and that also worked. But I think the first approach is more in the mind of what was thought of.
Did you run this in the terminal, or did you run it within the shell? Like, because the whole point is to actually execute or be, wait, let me go to this. Is the whole point is to just be able to execute within, like only from here? Did you do it only from here?
No, the redirect was done
Outside.
before. Yeah, I could create the file without doing anything up front, but then I had to use redirects when calling the shell.py.
Okay, I'm still not entirely sure, but we will put this on hold. Okay, we will put this on hold. Prashant, we have a lot of holds today. Print. Yeah, Prashant, he did it the most easier and direct way. Yes. So as long as you reach self, this was the other way to do it. As long as you reach self, you have access to open. And when you have access to open, you can just read the file. I mean, he didn't get an RCE, but he still did achieve the whole point of the challenge. No, this is less than 42 characters. I don't think this is more. Let me check. I don't know. This is more? This is 44. Okay. Sorry, never mind then. He didn't mention anything here that it's more than 44, but okay. But let me check it. I mean, if it works, it should work here, right? Yeah, okay, it's more than 40. Oh, wait. No, it's actually working. It works. No, it's not gonna print without the print. Yeah. Yeah, he's able to read the file. And this is less than 42. Okay. It worked. I mean, if it works, it works. Yeah, this is also another way to do it with print. Renek, I think Renek's online. He also did it with print, and as you can see, it's working here. He did it the same way through open f.txt, and it worked like a charm. Sergio, you didn't do this challenge, right? Ahmed, you didn't? No. Okay. Ali, no. Donk, yes. Donk, he found actually the repo, so we're not gonna go through his solution. Hey. Foyz, let's check Foyz how he did it. Small. Oh, you have everything in one place. My bad. Okay. Small. Yeah, but that was more than 42, right? Yeah, because also Sergio, he was complaining about this the whole time. Yeah, okay. We can look L. He didn't. Mot. No. No. Ty. You did it with. Yeah. Exactly. So you did it with 20, less than 22 bytes. This is the 22 bytes thingy. So yeah. So basically, when you reach help, you have an RCE. It's 100% RCE. Help and breakpoint, it's 1,000,000% an RCE. Now take a look into this. So when you do print, and because you have access to the built-ins module, we can wait. Let's call self, and because now we have the access to the built-in module, help that does exist within. Now when we call help, we have a help menu. And in the help menu, you can call literally anything str, and this opens a vim in the background. And now you can literally run anything. Bash. And I have bash now. Very well done. Yeah. That was actually my intended, and that was also the reason why it should have been 22 bytes instead of 24. Yeah, I mean, help function is not available because we are removing everything from the built-ins except the print. Good job. Yeah. Yeah. Good. So we are gonna take a 5 or 10 minute break. How much do you guys want? 5. Okay, 5 minutes break. We're gonna also stop the stream, and I will take a look into the other stuff that you guys